There's a new day that will come again tomorrow. There's a new day to wash away the pain. There's a new day to take away your sorrow. And the old ways get washed out by the rain. Darling, you.
So hey everybody, it's Mickey, and in today's video I have 3 sheet pan dinners for you that are quick, easy, and delicious, and your family is going to love them. So if you are new here, I hope you'll take a minute to subscribe. I put out new videos every week about all things home. So the one thing that you're going to want to get for yourself for these recipes is a extra large baking sheet. This is the one that I use. It is from Nordic Ware. You can find it on Amazon or in Walmart. The reason why I like this pan so much is because it's probably about 1/3 larger than your average cookie sheet, which allows you to lay out all your ingredients in a single layer, which allows everything to cook evenly. So this recipe is a very simple Italian chicken recipe. I have some very thinly sliced chicken breast here that we are going to season with a mixture of sour cream, a little bit of mayo, and Good Season's Italian salad dressing mix. Also a little bit of Parmesan cheese will be mixed in there for good measure. We're also going to have some roasted red potatoes with a little bit of onion and rosemary. And then for our veggie, I'm going to slice up some zucchini and yellow squash on the side. To these potatoes, I'm just going to add a couple teaspoons of some olive oil, some fresh rosemary, a little bit of salt, pepper, garlic powder, and Mrs. Dash. And then we're going to stir this up to make sure everything is coated and nice and evenly, and then we're going to get that on our pan. So to this same bowl, we are going to add our sliced yellow squash and our sliced zucchini. I'm just going to split them in half lengthwise and then cut them into chunks. To these, I'll also be adding a little bit of olive oil, some salt and pepper, garlic powder, and Mrs. Dash. So to top our chicken, I'm going to take a little bit of sour cream. I'm not really sure on the measurements with this. I'm just going to eyeball it a little bit. And I'm going to put in a squirt or 2 of mayo. And we're going to mix that up. And then we're going to add a packet of the Good Season's Italian dressing mix with a little bit of Parmesan cheese. Just a little sprinkling, because we're going to add a little bit more on top of each piece of chicken. I'm just going to take a little bit of this mixture and add it to our chicken. spread it all out here on each piece. It smells so, so good. And then we'll take a little bit of Parmesan. I'm just going to add a little bit of Parmesan. To each piece. And then I'm going to sprinkle it with a little bit of dried parsley. There you go. So we are going to put it in the oven at 425 for about 30 to 40 minutes. I've just taken the chicken out of the oven. We're going to just check the temp. I always check whatever meat that I'm making to make sure that it is in the appropriate temperature before I serve. At 197, I think that is just perfect. So I'm just going to let this cool just a little bit, and then we're going to plate it up. This is one of those beautiful meals. Even if you're having somebody over for dinner and you don't have a lot of time to cook, it takes very little prep, stick it in the oven, and what you pull out is just the most beautiful combination of flavors. It smells so good and tastes so good. The next recipe I'm sharing with you today is for ranch pork chops, some roasted sweet potatoes, and Brussels sprouts. We are going to season our pork chops with some ranch dressing, some smoky paprika, some Mrs. Dash, and oregano. We're going to be chopping up a couple sweet potatoes and about a half an onion. We'll be seasoning it with olive oil and garlic and fresh rosemary. And then we're going to be cutting up these Brussels sprouts, seasoning them with a little olive oil, garlic powder, salt and pepper, and hot pepper flakes, putting it all on a big sheet pan and getting some dinner in the oven. So I have my sheet pan all covered with some aluminum foil. I'm going to be cutting up my sweet potatoes into really small little chunks. I'm going to chop my onion, put it all in my bowl here, and we're going to season it up and get it on the pan. So we have our sweet potatoes and our chopped onion with some rosemary here in our bowl. I'm going to add just a couple tablespoons of some olive oil. I'm going to put some salt in here, some black pepper, Mrs. Dash, and some garlic. Then we're going to toss this all up, make sure that everything is coated really well with all that good stuff. And then we're going to get it on our sheet pan. So in that same bowl that the potatoes were in, I'm going to trim my Brussels sprouts and get those in there so we can season them up and get them on the pan as well. I am going to cut some of these bigger ones into quarters. The small guys I'll just cut in half, because we want everything to be of a consistent size so that it all cooks as evenly as possible. So we're just going to add just maybe a teaspoon or so of olive oil to our Brussels sprouts. We'll add some salt and pepper, some Mrs. Dash and garlic powder. There we go. And some crushed red pepper flakes. So these are seasoned really well. We're going to stir them up and make sure that they are coated completely, and we'll get these on the far end of our sheet pan. So to season our pork chops, in this small bowl, we are going to put in either 1 packet of ranch dressing or about 3 tablespoons. We're going to add some paprika, a little oregano, there's plenty enough salt in your ranch dressing, but if you wanted to add a little bit more, you can go ahead and do that. I'm going to add a little bit of black pepper, and I'm going to add a little bit of garlic powder. So we'll mix this up a little bit, and we're going to rub this into our pork chops. I have my 4 pork chops here. I've brushed them a little bit with some olive oil, and I'm going to take our little seasoning mixture and I'm going to sprinkle some on each. And I'm going to rub that in and see if they need to be re-seasoned. So we're going to get our pork chops here on our sheet pan, and then we are going to roast it in a 425-degree oven for about 30 to 35 minutes. Everybody's oven is a little bit different. Some ovens might cook a little bit slower, some a little bit quicker, so be sure to check your meat temperature before you serve. So I just took our pan out of the oven about, I would say, 20 to 25 minutes in. I covered up our Brussels sprouts because they were getting pretty roasted and just perfect. Everything looks so delicious. The potatoes are perfect, fork tender. The pork has come up to temperature, and those Brussels sprouts are just beautiful. So I'm going to plate this up and I'll show you what it all looks like. So this is our pork chop all plated up. It is just so delicious. I just added a little bit of chopped parsley on top. I think everything looks better with a little bit of fresh parsley. This is such a delicious meal. It's quick and simple to make, even if it's a busy night, so I hope you will give this a try. So this recipe I'm about to share with you is probably the simplest and the quickest of all of them. You can make some chicken fajitas with this, or you can make chicken burrito bowls. However you want to serve it, it's up to you. So for this recipe, you are going to need about 1.5 pounds of chicken breast. You're going to need a zucchini, a couple red bell peppers, a couple green bell peppers, and some onions. You'll also need about 2 tablespoons of some taco seasoning. For this recipe, you are going to want to thinly slice up your peppers and onions. Now, you don't necessarily have to put zucchini into this recipe, but zucchini is probably my favorite veggie, so I think that it improves everything that you put it in. So as you slice everything up, you can go ahead and put it right on your tray. You can do a mixture of green and red peppers, or you can do, yellow and orange, whatever you guys like. Most of the recipes that I share with you all are very forgiving, and I really do think that you should alter any recipe to suit your family's taste. So we have all of our veggies here on the baking sheet. We're going to add a little bit of olive oil on top. Then some salt and pepper. And we're also going to add some garlic powder. And then with nice clean hands, you're going to just toss it around a little bit to be sure that everything is coated well. So I've sliced up our 1.5 pounds of chicken breast. I'm going to add in some garlic powder and then our taco seasoning. And I'm going to mix this around to make sure that everything is coated really well, and then we're going to add it to our cooking sheet. Spread the chicken out evenly on the pan and then bake in a 425-degree oven for 25 or 30 minutes. This is such a quick and easy recipe. You can put it on some flour tortillas with your regular taco toppings, or you can put it in a burrito bowl like I did with some rice, black beans, cheese, and we can top it with some sour cream and guacamole. So that's going to do it for me today. I hope these recipes have inspired you to try some sheet pan dinners on your own. These really are a busy mom's best friend. You can prep everything in the morning and then come home at night and put it all on the pan, and you have dinner in about 30 minutes. Thanks so much for watching today. Please join our communities over on Facebook and Instagram at My Bashful Life. And if you sent me a Christmas card, be on the lookout for mine coming your way over the next couple weeks. So until I see you in that next video, I hope that you love the life that you have, be kind to each other, stay safe, and I'm going to see you again soon. Bye.